Good morning, everyone. So I did a little class yesterday, an online class, and my student currently sent me her drawing to get a bit of feedback, I guess, on what went wrong, went a lot better. And I just thought it'd be a good idea to record it, as it might help other people in the future. So we have a reference photo on the left, the drawing on the right. And the first thing I would say is that the shading of the drawing is actually really quite good. We have a little bit of an issue with the perspective. So I will show you how I would actually have approached that. So basically we have the line here. If I trace a line across here, then we would want the seat of the chair to follow that same line. So if I was to do the same line on here, that shows me that the seat is a little bit off, the perspective is a little bit off. So what we're going to do first of all is just correct this line here. Okay. Obviously, because the seat is a little bit off, it means that the backrest of the chair will also be off. So basically what happened is that the seat is facing us too much. There's not enough depth on the perspective here. So from here, that means we have also the top of the seat here. If I was to trace this line, this is not quite the same as this line here. So if I do it in here first, and then we would want the same line here. So we can see that the backrest is also off a little bit. So because I've already traced the top of the seat here, then it gives me a bit of an idea where to place the start of the chair. So I'm going to go ahead and do something like this so you can see what I'm trying to get at. So this is the same as this, and then we can see that the top of a chair, which is this bit here, I'm going to go over this line because I want to keep this line. That stays right. We will also go over the top here. Just leave it like this for a minute. Then I also need to place the middle of the back chair. To do that, I'm going to have a look at this line here. And again, this is a little bit more horizontal than we would want it to be on this drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe not as much as this. Do something like this. And that gives me a leeway for putting the rest of the backrest. So here we go, about here. One line here. And I keep putting the backrest here. So, oh. So that's the middle of the backrest, and we can now roughly gauge how far the top of the chair will go on that side. So something like that. And it's got that little edge here. And then we want to finish the top of the backrest going this way. Okay, so if I was to erase those lines, oh, a bit too fast, sorry. If I was to erase those lines a little bit, not this big. And go a little bit smaller again. Then you can see from here where we're at. Okay, so the perspective of the top of the chair is shifted compared to the original drawing, when it's really quite too straight up. Okay, so we wanted to go a little bit more diagonal. So that's basically the major problem with the drawing is really the top of the chair and the seat itself. You know, if I was to carry on the drawing just to show you, I would go for a bit of a deeper line here. And I would go for a bit of a deeper line here as well. Okay, and obviously here you have your thicker line here, so all of this is quite dark, and then you would have your original wood, and even the cracks on the wood, we would want them to be more diagonal, pointing to the left rather than pointing down. Okay, so we're basically at this stage of the drawing, so we kind of shifted it quite a lot more. And then if I have a look at the legs here, so the legs are looking a bit long, but they are long also on the original you know, photo, so that's normal. I'd say the distance between the two front legs is pretty accurate here, so this distance here, so this distance here I would say is pretty accurate, so I'm happy with that. Same with the sides. I mean, the sides here you could have perhaps a little bit, if I get rid of that, we could have a little bit more maybe of an angle at the bottom here slightly, and keep the top thicker than the bottom of this leg, like so. The length here, like I said, I'm fairly happy with. I think that's absolutely fine. And this one is also okay. Right, nice shape here, nice shading again. And then here, so if I was to trace a line on this part of the chair, the bottom bar here, then we can see that this one is not quite angled the right way. So I would want to trace a similar line, which would be probably about there. And I would then, so it's not a major problem, as you can see, but again, just to make the perspective more realistic, is important. This bar here, I would have done a little bit more to the right, like so. Therefore, this one would also have needed to be a little bit more to the right, like this. Okay, and I would say these two are pretty, I would say they're in the right place. They're not bad at all. Maybe angle this one down slightly, and we want this one to look a little bit more square. So basically you want this to be very much a square on its side. Okay, so overall this is what we've done. So we kind of done the outline just to show you a little bit, and it's all about perspective on this particular drawing. So if I put back the original for my student, you should be able to see where things went slightly wrong. But like I said, the legs are really good, the shading is very good, but we just need to work a little bit on the perspective. So if you have any drawings that you'd like to message over to me, I'd be very happy to help you with that. It's just been yeah, it's just fun. Speak to you soon. Bye.